Hello and welcome to Swayam MOOC on British Poetry and Drama. I'm Dr. Vandana Rajoriya and I'm very happy to be with you all again. In our previous sessions, we explored Chaucer as a poet. We saw his unique blend of humour, irony and insight. We also examined the framework of Canterbury Tales. Now, we'll begin a focused study of Wife of Bath's prologue, one of the longest and most vivid self-portraits of any character in Chaucer's work. But before we dive into it, let us look at this character in a broader context. Just a few months ago, in 2025 itself, actor Ellen Pompey sparked a storm online when she defended her husband publicly. Almost instantly, she was labelled too loud, too defensive, too much. She summed it up with these very powerful words. She said, "Society loves to put women in boxes. You're either the helpless victim or the ruthless villain." And that's a pattern we see throughout history. Why go west? Let us look at India. Remember Gargi, the great Vedic sage? She was scorned for questioning sage. You know the sage Yagvalk. Remember Sita, Ramayan? She was forced to prove her purity. Draupadi from Mahabharata, she was shamed for demanding justice. Now let us cross the seas. Hypatia, this famous Alexandrian philosopher, what was she killed for? She was killed for her intellect. Joan of Arc, she was burned because she followed her conscience. The list is exhaustive. Countless women. If you look at the entire course of history, so many women have been silenced, punished for stepping beyond the boundaries which this patriarchal society set for them. And now let us come back. Let us look at our text. Let us look at Canterbury Tales. Let's meet Alison. Yes, that is the real name of Wife of Bath. Alison, in her prologue, is not standing in isolation. And this piece, her prologue, it belongs to a tradition in literary history which is called apologia. Apologia means a spirited self-defense. In Wife of Bath's prologue, she explains and justifies her way of life. But in Alison's case, she is not out to defend some philosophical ideological stand. Rather, she defends something which is deeply personal. She defends her marriages because it is not one marriage, not two marriages, but her 5 marriages she talks about in this prologue. And she speaks not shying, not low, but she speaks with candor and wit, defending her choices, challenging moral double standards of the society where bigamy, in some cases polygamy is also acceptable, but which forces women to settle with one marriage. And her arguments force us to rethink ideas of gender and power. When you look at the character of Wife of Bath, you find that she is very bold. In fact, she is bold enough to shy away some of the most modern men and women of the society. And what she says, she asserts with authority. She is not apologetic for being loud, being vocal of her personal desires about sexuality and about the way she went out to find a place and create a space for her own. And yes, while doing all this, she charms and amuses us. She persuades us. What otherwise could have been a shocking revelation, very difficult to accept, turns out to be bold but also engaging and reflective power. You know, she turns her confession into a declaration of female experience and agency. She forces us to think about some questions very seriously questions like who defines morality, what shapes gender roles, and who holds power, who decides everything for us. These are the questions which Wife of Bath makes us confront both in her time and in ours. You would wonder, why Wife of Bath's prologue? Why do it now? There are many reasons that you, as student of literature, need to look at Wife of Bath's prologue in a fresh way. It is fascinating, it is engaging, it is enlightening for many reasons. Her prologue actually is longer than her tale. And yes, think about it, pause and reflect about it as we do the prologue. Keep thinking about it, why her prologue is longer than her tale, and towards the end we'll be taking up a discussion of it. In Wife of Bath's prologue, Chaucer gives us a detailed character introduction. It has been given more space than her actual story. Now keep that question in mind as we go along. We'll return to it at the end of our study. By the end of today's session, you'll be able to understand the wife's argument about marriage, virginity and female sovereignty. You'll be able to recognize how she uses biblical and classical references to support her views. You'll be able to identify Chaucer's use of irony, sermon style which he uses, and also satire, how it has been used in it. You'll also be able to see how Wife of Bath very powerfully challenges gender roles, double standards of the society, and you'll be able to appreciate Chaucer's craft in creating such an enchanting, complex, vivid female character. Before we dive into the prologue itself, let us look at Wife of Bath. Let us look at her personality to be able to understand her and her voice better. Our Wife of Bath is confident, she is persuasive. She not only uses example from Bible, but she also uses examples from everyday life to defend her choices. She is very humorous and lively, turning even a very serious subject like marriage, like authority of experience, into engaging arguments. She is independent and very strong-willed. She is clear about, almost more clearer than all of us, about what she wants from her marriage and her life. She is everything, modern women wants to be. She is self-aware about her faults and strategies, but she is unapologetic. And what are her views? She says marriage is natural and preferable to celibacy. She defends her remarriage, pointing out at biblical figures like Solomon, Abraham. She believes that women should have power and sovereignty in marriage. And keep this in mind, because her tale would tell us how she proves her point. When she speaks without any feeling of shame, guilt about her desires, about her love, the pleasures she sought through life. And yes, how does she look? She wears fine clothes which reflect that she is well off. She is aged, but she wears bright red stockings. Her shoes are brand new. Chaucer makes us see her white hat, but she is gape-toothed. And all this is basically a sign of passion, in medieval age. She is deaf in one ear, which, she tells us in the prologue is a result of her quarrel with Jenkin. Yes, one of her husbands. She matters because of many reasons. Because her voice gives us a rare window into medieval female experience. When we ask this question, why study literature? Then one of the answers which comes out obviously is that because it gives us a sense of time, because it gives us an understanding of human history. It gives us a sense of how we have come down to this place as we see life today. And wife of Bath in these terms becomes really important because she makes us see, and not only see, but also forces us to question the moral codes of conducts of her time, gender expectations and power dynamics of the time, because she reminds us that even today, centuries after Chaucer envisioned the wife of Bath, the women's voices, desires and choices are as complex as they were then and as much questioned as they were then. In the end, her prologue is more than just her story. It is a mirror reflecting society back to itself and asking us to look again at what we believe about marriage, about power and morality. Her voice is bold, but it is also human, and more than anything else, it is timeless. With this introduction, let us now start looking at the Wife of Bath's prologue from close. In the very opening lines of Wife of Bath's prologue, Wife of Bath sets the stage not only for her tale but also for her argument about her entire life. She opens with striking confidence, almost defiant in tone. And what does she say? If you would want to hear it, how it sounded as Chaucer wrote it, lend your ears to me. She opens and very boldly, very powerfully, she says, experience, though known authority were in this world, is right enough for me to speak of woe that is in marriage. Yes, sounds alien because of the language, and it also makes you see how language has come down to us, journeyed and developed and changed and evolved. So she says, experience, though no written authority were in this world, is right enough for me to speak of woe that is in marriage. Mind you, wife of Bath doesn't mean that she is wife of Bath. Bath actually was a place in the time, and it was a kind of, you can relate it to recreational spas we have today or recreational retreats we have today where people from nobility would go to regain health. So what does this wife mean? In Chaucer's times, wife actually used to mean women, not only referred to married women but all women. When Chaucer says wife of Bath, he is actually meaning woman of Bath. Now let us look at the lines again. Experience, though known authority were in this world, is right enough for me to speak of woe that is in marriage. Now what is wife of Bath saying? She raises her argument very beautifully. Though the world doesn't consider experience an authority, and using these words, she raises debate which has continued since long and which continues even today. What is it that you would consider important? What gives one an authority to be able to speak about something? And wife of Bath says that world considers scripture an authority. Remember, people decided right, wrong, good, bad, acceptable, unacceptable on the basis of prescriptions of Bible, on the basis of prescriptions of the scriptures. But she confronts this idea immediately. So she says, though world doesn't consider experience an authority, but that is what gives me an authority to speak. And what is it that it gives her authority to speak on? Marriage. What is she saying here? And what does it actually mean? She says that her lived experience, more valid than the teachings found in books, sermons or even scholarly writings, that she does not need authority, a term in Chaucer's day that meant written scholarly authority, especially from sacred or classical texts. That living through 5 marriages has taught her more than any book ever could. So it is basically thrown as a challenge to power of scriptures. In the Middle Ages, the scriptures or the authority basically was considered in the Bible, in the writings of church fathers, Saint Jerome, ancient philosophers. But personal experience, especially the experience of a woman, remember what was the status of women in the time. She was expected to remain silent or be considered secondary to male written authority. Yet here is the wife of Beth asserting, my truth comes from my life. My voice matters. She uses many biblical allusions and their implications are far-reaching. Wife of Beth speaks of marriage as bringing sorrow, bringing woe, an idea which was very familiar to medieval audience. She uses many biblical examples. She refers to the letter of Saint Paul, who warned that marriage brings trouble. He advised men not to marry if at all possible. Church's fathers taught that marriage was allowed only due to human weakness. Virginity was seen as holier. Saint Jerome fiercely championed virginity over marriage. So when the wife of Beth declares, I have wedded 5 husbands, she is not confessing a sin. She rather is asserting her right and defending her life choices. There are many metaphors and images which wife of Beth uses here. She presents her experience as a kind of inner book, a living text written by her life. She uses natural, boldly agricultural imagery, speaking of bestowing the flower of her age in marriage and of being a lusty wife. She links marriage and sexuality not with shame but with nature and fruitfulness. As we move further, let us also look at the literary devices she uses. Her tone is direct, confessional, experience though known authority is right enough for me. She draws us into her confidence. As fellow pilgrims, we also follow her. She uses repetition very powerfully, words like marriage, woe, recur, emphasizing her theme. Her tone basically is ironical in nature, and she openly states that she is not hesitant. She will go about and marry again if life provides her an opportunity. But beneath this assertion, there are deeper layers of meaning. She is actually contending authority of female experience over male written text, and in doing so she is opening up a debate that still resonates. Who gets to speak about human relationships? Only the scholars, or also those who have lived their complexities, who have lived their life and acquired an understanding? Now, as we move further, keep reflecting upon this. What does it mean for a woman in any age to say, my experience is enough and it matters? How does this challenge the established authority? How it challenges us even today? And what happens when lived truth speaks back to tradition? From lines 35 to 82, wife of Beth shifts from proclaiming her authority of defending her marriage choices, that she has married 5 times, and declares that not only would marry again, but she also believes that it was right thing to do. She says, God bade us for to wax and multiply. That gentle text can I well understand. And she reminds us of God's first command in Genesis, that we basically are expected to multiply. So for her, marriage actually fulfills that divine command only. So here she is very cleverly using biblical scriptures and allusions to her purpose. So she asserts that if multiple marriages are acceptable for men, quoting examples from Bible where there are references to people who have married many times, she says that why it is forbidden for us only. Here she uses many metaphors, images to make us see her powerful assertions and forcefully understand her argument, but more than anything else, she uses rhetorical questions to assert her willful judgment. But there is a playfulness beneath her pious tone. Wife defends not just marriage, but she also defends women's right to enjoy life and interpret faith for herself. She exposes male hypocrisy when she says that many wives are praised when they serve men, but a woman who takes multiple husbands, it is condemned. And it forces us to reflect. Who decides how sacred texts should be read? Can you see in wife a voice for anyone who has ever claimed their own authority despite judgment? Keep thinking. We'll take it up in discussion sessions. In the next lines from 83 to 144, we see how wife criticizes the church's teaching on virginity and exposes the double standards of those who preach virtue but practice control. She critiques men's teaching, and she asserts that men do not follow the rules which they make for themselves, but when it comes to women, they expect strict conformity. As we journey through Wife of Bath's prologue and her loud arguments, she basically flips the church's order, and she says while church preaches that we should forbid enjoyment, she celebrates enjoyment and she condemns chastity. She says that God has given us this body for a purpose, and she defends her many physical adventures, stating that if God has given us this body, He has given it to us for a reason. And she says that God meant us to use this body the way she uses it. And she goes about to compare her sexuality to everyday practicality of the time. Just as we don't have tools and therefore we do not leave them unused. This is what she says. She says that her body has been designed for love and reproduction, and if we deny it its purpose, then somehow we are denying God's intention, God's command, and the plain, earthly, powerful speech which comes out from her heart directly goes into our heart. She shocks us by her shameless revelation and charms by her bold assertions. Her rhetorical logic, the clear pattern in which she defends her choices in the name of God, it makes us really chuckle at her wit. The ironical play of words in her speech, it makes us even wonder. And as we move further, she details us about her life with her first three husbands. Her first three husbands were old and wealthy, but they were incapable of fulfilling her desires. They were easy to dominate, and she used her charm, wit and deception to gain mastery over them. She accused them of infidelity, not because they strayed, but because it kept them defensive. She boldly tells us how she uses manipulative arguments, turning their words against them. And she says that she would deny intimacy until they gave in to her wishes. Now, Wife of Bath goes about to talk about her three husbands, and then moves further to talk about her fourth husband. You would think, you would question, why is it that Wife of Bath is so willing to take the next husband also? After three marriages, she takes the fourth one. She is into fifth at present, and still she is not budging. Somehow, Wife of Bath craved for love, and it is when you meet her fourth husband, Jenkyn, that you realize that how she craved for love, and how when she finally got it, she gave everything to Jenkyn in exchange of love. But it makes us really wonder that one husband whom she loved so dearly was the one who basically ill-treated her. He used her provisions but never really granted her freedom. In fact, he would come and read to her every day from the book of Wicked Wives. He would force her to conform to the norms and standards set by the society of the time. But then she also says that how finally one day when she just couldn't endure the torture, she went about to take that book from his hand and she, tore pages apart from it. She threw it into fireplace and he was furious. The result of the scuffle between the two was that she goes deaf. But she says that it is only when she goes deaf and she is in a position to make him see how he had killed her that she is in a position to move his guilt conscience, and she is in a position to win over and gain that authority which she so powerfully wanted. Now, when you look at this entire first part of Wife of Bath's prologue, you realize that it is more or less about asserting her femininity, her independence, and exposing the male hypocrisy of the time. In our next session, we'll continue from here and we'll try to finish the Wife of Bath's prologue, try to see what are the major arguments she makes in support of her, and we'll try to get a holistic understanding and experience of the entire text. This is all for today. Thank you.